Kai, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the Torah tribes. Yasha Allah, all praises to Yahweh, Shem Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah, Barakatah, Barakatah, Yahweh, Barakatah, Yahweh Shah. I'm gonna get straight into this, all right? This is going into the book of Acts, chapter 2, and namely, verse number 40, all right? And this is the words of Peter, right, through the Spirit, and let's see what he says. He says what? And with many other words did he testify and exhort, saying, save yourselves from this untoward generation. So what does he mean by that? He's saying save yourselves. You know, he's talking to Israel, right? But he's saying save yourselves from this untoward generation. Let's get that word for untoward in the Greek, right? Let's see what it says. Acts chapter 2 and verse 40, right? Because we have to go into the Greek for certain words to understand and get the whole meaning of the verse. So let's see what it means. It's saying this untoward generation, right? Let's get the word.
Strong's G 4646 Scalias. Scalias.
Scalias. It says crooked, curved, metaphor, perverse, wicked, unfair, surly, forward. So that's forward, right? Salakia. That's what it means. It literally means to be crooked or curved, but we know in the metaphorical sense, Paul is using this word to say what? I mean, Peter is using this word to say this wicked generation. Because we live in a wicked generation right now, right? We live in a wicked generation. This younger generation that's coming up, wicked, right? You got the youth, they're wicked, man. You know, and you know, you have some of our youth that's actually coming back to the Most High, and all praises to the Most High for that. But at the same time, you have the majority of our youth, and they just stand, you know, doing whatever they want, you know, stand doing whatever they want. And so it's like, hey, look, we have to understand what Peter's saying through the Spirit. He's saying that, look, you have to save yourself from this untoward generation, right? Save yourself from, do what you got to do to get this kingdom of heaven by Hashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shah. Do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he's saying through the Spirit, right? Let's go to the book of, I want to get through the Spirit, right? A classic, right? Revelation 22 and 14, right? 22 and 14, it says, blessed are they that do his commandments. So when we come back to these laws / commandments, which is this our light in this wicked world, because let me get that precept as well, right? Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23, it says, for the commandment is a lamp and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. So the commandment is a lamp in this dark world for you to maneuver in this world or through, right? So by the keeping the commandments, that's how we're going to enter into this kingdom, right? Ultimately, it's all the Most High's will and ordination. But Peter is saying that, look, you got to save yourself from this wicked generation however you can, man. Because it's going to be temptation through the way, right? I'm going to get this precept in the book of 1 Peter chapter 4, all right? This is 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse number, let me get this. 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse number 3. For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles, when we walk in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries, when they think it strange that you run not with them to the same excess of right, speaking evil of you. So that's what's going on, right? That's what's going on. Peter is saying that, look, the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles. Because this what the this generation right now that we're living in, and when it says generation, we know that it's the generation of Peter, which is still here today, because the Lord is saying, you know, till heaven and earth pass. The Lord did say that in the book of Matthew chapter 24, until heaven and earth passed, right? Let me get this precept. Matthew 24:35, it says, or actually, I'm going to go to verse 34. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all things be fulfilled. So this generation is not going to pass away, meaning the people that lived during that time of Yahushua, they're still here today. Well, they're not still here today. What I mean by that, they're here today through what? Regeneration. All right, because you have something what's called regeneration. So they're regenerated back into different bodies, but the same spirit. All right. That's why in the book of just to get one precept on that, in Matthew chapter 26, that's what it says. All right. In Matthew 26, that's why Yahweh Shah told uh, the high priest in Matthew 26 and verse 64, he said, Yahweh Shah saith unto him, right, thou hast said, nevertheless I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. So how is that possible? We know that Yahweh Shah didn't make his second coming yet. So Caiaphas, who was the high priest during this time, it is showing you that he's going to be here during the time in which Yahweh Shah comes back, makes his second coming. All right. And we know that God is not a liar, or Yahweh Shah, he's not a liar either. All right. So going back to that precept, we have to save ourselves from this untoward generation. This is what the generation of today is doing, especially, you know what I'm saying, the youth, because this world is made for the youth, right? When you go to clubs, you don't see 50-year-olds in there, right? The majority of people, I'm saying, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds. Well, no, they already lived their life of just folly, all right? They already lived their life of folly. They might still be doing whatever, but they've already lived their life of folly and partying and all this other stuff. Usually you get all your wickedness done in your youth, all right? That's what this system, this world teaches, all right? Especially, Babylon the Great. So it says, wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walk in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries. So that's what they're walking in right now. Lasciviousness, right? Lust, right? And lust is, manyfold. It could be like, doing whatever the flesh tells you to do. So, you're working out on the Sabbath, for example. That could be a lust, just for one example out of many. Excess of wine, you know what I'm saying? Getting drunk, all right? That's a reoccurring problem in our nation as well. Revelings and banqueting. So revelings, you know what I'm saying? Constantly fighting, right? Banquetings and abominable idolatries, right? Exactly. And idolatry is running rampant as well, all right? And it says, wherein they think it strange that you run not with them to the same excess of right, speaking evil of you. So because they see you trying to walk holy, and they're walking unrighteous, they're going to speak evil of you. And so that's why Peter is saying, look, you got to save yourself from this untoward generation. You have to get away. You have to do what you got to do to not be caught up into this generation, right? Into the wickedness of it, all right? And that's basically just the point of the video, right? Through the Spirit. So with that, all praise Yahweh Shah, Hamashiach, one Malaki Yahweh Shah, Lord willing, edifying, brother Yasha Allah, Shalom.